De onderhandelingen tussen Griekenland en zijn kredietverleners lopen nog steeds erg stroef. Het voorstel dat momenteel op tafel ligt bevat bovendien ook strengere besparingsmaatregelen dan het plan dat aan de vorige regering werd voorgesteld. Europees parlementslid Kostas Chrysogonos geeft namens Syriza zijn mening over het huidige plan en vertelt welke gevolgen hij verwacht. Omdat het Europees Parlement 1 week per maand naar Straatsburg verhuist, gebeurde dit interview voor de gelegenheid via straalverbinding.
This is Syriza from the European Parliament. Welcome to Europa and Actua-TV. To this episode, we are going to discuss all the consequences from the last negotiation regarding Greece's economic situation with a member of the European Parliament from Syriza, Mr. Kostas Chrysogonos, registered with a confederal group of European United Left. Mr. Chrysogonos, welcome.
Thanks for the invitation.
Well, we are in the 5th month of negotiations and somehow we ended up to discuss a deal that contains harder measures from the one that the European partners had proposed to the previous government during its last steps. And what we mean about that, we mean increases in the value-added taxes, increases in the price of the electricity, even the abolition of the social solidarity benefits to low-paid pensioners. And all of these are referring to a country, to Greece, that from 2009 until 2014 had shrunk its GDP by 26%, and nowadays it's facing an unemployment of 26.5%. So how we ended up to discuss that kind of a deal?
Well, first of all, we don't have, up to now, any specific and concrete proposals from the creditors. If you compare the Greek position, which is a 47 pages long paper, and the position of the creditors, which is 5 papers non-paper, 5 pages non-paper, it is obvious that while the Greek government makes a concrete proposal, which is expressed in numbers, the creditors only formulate very vague demands which are not clear as their content is concerned. They say that they want an increase in the VAT. Yes, okay, this is concrete, but they don't say how much they do expect from this increase. They say that they expect the pensioners' benefit to be slashed. They don't say how much exactly they want to save from this, so that the Greek side could formulate an alternative proposal. So it is obvious, in my opinion, that the creditors are not very serious in this negotiation. In fact, I'm not sure whether they want to reach an agreement or whether the only thing they do want to do is to spend time so that they push the Greek economy to the edge, and therefore, and perhaps at the end they'll formulate some extremist demands.
My apologies. What do you mean about pushing Greece's economy? Are you referring to a Grexit scenario?
I'm referring to the fact that as long as the uncertainty continues, Greek economy continues to shrink. If the uncertainty about Greece would be removed, then Greece would be in a better position, not only as far as the negotiation is concerned, but generally. I mean, the Greek economy would benefit from a solution which would remove uncertainty about Greece's future. Therefore, I'm not sure what the creditors really want. What is the strategic objective of the creditors? Perhaps the strategic objective of the creditors is not at all to come to terms with the present Greek government, but it's only to give an example to everybody else in Europe that those who stand against austerity, those who are insubordinate, so to say, shall be punished so that everybody else will fear following the Greek example.
Do you believe that the European partners proposed such hard terms to Greece in order to find a solution somewhere in the middle so Syriza would bail?
The Syriza government has already made bold moves in order to achieve a negotiated settlement with the creditors. We have made more than half the way in order to achieve that settlement. The problem is that the creditors are intransigent. They are keeping on demanding things which will drive people in Greece, a significant portion of Greek people, to extreme, to abject poverty. The whole scene does not indicate that there is a willingness at the part of the creditors to go along and to give Greece a sustainable agreement. Because
Mr. Chrysogonos, are you firm that that kind of a deal would be accepted from the national parliament, will gain support from the national parliament?
This depends upon what ambience, so to say, would be created by the mass media. We also see an orchestrated campaign against Greece and against the Greek government by the European media. And therefore, it is doubtful who creates the conditions in order for the deal to be accepted or to be rejected by the parliaments. Anyway, the fact is that a Grexit would create dangers for the Eurozone and for the European Union as a whole, which cannot be foreseen right now. Therefore, those who advocate it make a very dangerous calculation. If the failure of a bank like Lehman Brothers was enough to trigger such a crisis in 2008, nobody can foresee what the failure of a state within Europe would create, what sort of consequences it would have for Europe as a whole, even for the world economy. Because
this will cause further social crisis.
Yes, I think that if those measures are implemented, then the social and economic crisis in Greece will deepen furthermore.
Well, in a case that the national parliament has to approve or not that kind of a deal, do you believe that we will have arguments within Syriza?
This is possible, yes. From the other side, Syriza is a democratic party. It has internal democracy, and therefore everybody has the chance to express his views within the party, and then of course vote along with party lines at the plenary session of the parliament. But this is not the main problem. The main problem is whether this is socially sustainable, socially viable, and economically also.
To interrupt you, but in a case that we have arguments within Syriza, then Mr. Tsipras has to go either to elections or ask for support from the other parties, such as New Democracy, PASOK, or the River Party, that are more firm European believers.
Well, probably the River Party and possibly also some New Democracy MPs would vote for the deal in order to avoid the worst case scenario, which is, of course, a Grexit. But this would probably mean that even if the measures are voted for, even if the law implementing the measures is voted for, that we would have a snap election sometime in the coming fall. Let's say something like September, October, November, I don't know, somewhere there. But even in this case, it is obvious that Syriza is very far ahead at the polls, at the opinion polls, and it is almost sure that a Syriza government will return to power, as it looks right now, at least. But the problem is how the Greek society and the Greek economy would be able to survive. We are talking about hundreds of thousands of people who won't be able to afford heating their homes at winter, who won't be able to afford even food, even decent food for themselves and their families. So there is a humanitarian crisis right now in Greece, which even the President of the Commission has accepted, Mr. Juncker, and the demands of the creditors are going to further aggravate it.
To close our discussion here, all these delays, do you believe that they do have hard consequences on Greece's economy?
Of course, there are severe economic repercussions from the deal being delayed. But the fact is that the main culpability for this delay lays with the creditors. The creditors are intransigent. They do not understand what is happening in Greece. They do not want to see the humanitarian crisis that is happening right now. They are not at all interested about sustainability, economic and social sustainability of the measures they are demanding. And at the end, they are not behaving like true partners. They are behaving in an irrational way, because if they force Greece to a Grexit, then the repercussions for them will be severe as well, or they are in danger of having severe repercussions in their economies as well.
Well, Mr. Chrysogonos, I have to sincerely thank you.
Thank you very much.
Those were the main updated news regarding Greece's economic situation. Thank you for staying with us.